Good morning. This is Joyce. Welcome to my home once again, and thank you for listening. Not going to talk about the same old things. Going to give you a lesson in history today. I've been watching the rise of Nazis into power on PBS. They have an excellent series on Sunday evenings. And the other night when I came home, I happened to tune into the trials of Nuremberg. And my friend just gave me a book called The Good Cop. All of it is about Hitler's rise to power under the National Socialist Party. Started off, people were miserable. People didn't have any jobs. They were hurt by the outcome of the Versailles Treaty during World War I. And the people were in despair. Inflation was out of sight. People were starving. Great opportunity for a dictator to rise up. Now we're talking about the 20s. So it took Hitler a very long time to get control of the power structure of Germany. He was patient. He started with the thugs. He started with the brown shirts. He landed up in jail. And then he seized control of the Reichstag. And he seized it by doing it democratically. He had already had the laws changed. He knew the votes were going to be there. And Hitler was voted into office. Now, I can't sit by every single week and just watch Congress debate on passing the new laws that we know we need to preserve our democracy. Right? We know that we need the voting rights law. We need it desperately. And why? Because all of the Republican-controlled states, egged on and having all their laws written by the Heritage Foundation, are passing voter suppression like never before. And people will not be able to go to the polls easily in 2022. Only with a federal law will we be able to vote, and our vote will count. Not my position to say how you vote, but it is my position to say that when I vote, I want to know my vote is who I voted for, and it counted. In Maricopa County, where the cyber ninjas are now going through the voting machines with no oversight whatsoever and possibly damaging the software and inserting malware, the Democrat who's in charge of voting machines has asked that they all be scrapped and new machines be put in their place. We're not talking about a trivial number of votes. We're talking about millions of votes that Arizona has certified over 3 times. And this group that has no experience of voting machines is now tampering with the people's data. So much for our privacy, so much for who we voted for. It's all open to a subcontractor, and that's not right. We vote with a secret ballot. Nobody reads our votes with our name on it, and that's the beauty of our system. It would work great for unions, because if unions had the right laws, they too could organize without pressure from the corporations, and we could have a clean slate for unions and workers. And then corporations would be actually following the ESGs, thinking about their employees, thinking about the good of society, the sustainability of their product, and thinking about how they could integrate their corporation, their employees, with doing good for the communities. That's what we're supposed to do. But supposed to, shoulda, coulda, woulda, that doesn't matter. What only matters is what is. And here it is, 5 months into the presidency. Well, we know the Families Plan Act has passed the House, and I hope it'll go speedily through Congress so that people will get the relief they need. We need less expensive childcare. We need pre-K. We gotta have it so that women can go back to work and not have to worry about their children being taken care of and not have to worry about the expenses of childcare. Doesn't happen anyplace else in the civilized world. Childcare is less than 3% of everyone's income. So this is a bill that I'm waiting for. But in the interim, I can't hold my breath and wonder what's going to be. So I'm just going to teach you about what is and what can happen and give you lessons in history every once in a while. We should remember our history so that we don't ever repeat it, because repeating it for America and for democracy would be a tragedy. We don't want to be fascists, and evidently the slope is very slippery. If you don't put up safety nets for the people, they don't have safety nets, as we're seeing. In many states, they're getting people back to work by removing their safety nets and their unemployment insurance benefits. Well, yeah, that gets people back to work because they don't want to starve, but it doesn't put them in a good place, and it doesn't make them happy, and it certainly doesn't give them pay with dignity. We need to pass that $15 minimum wage. Looks like that's what's going to happen anyway, that all across the board, if you're not draconian, you're going to have to pay more to get labor. And well, you should. As the corporations and the corporate senior management has made 200, 300, 1,000% more than their workers, and workers' salaries have declined, and Medicare has declined over the years, people need that social safety net. Unlike what the GOP thinks, it's not being squandered. It's not stopping people from returning to work. What's stopping people from returning to work is they need a decent wage, and they want to make sure that they're safe and they're vaccinated and that they don't have to worry about the pandemic or wages and benefits, and they don't have to worry about taking time off if they do have side effects. That's legit, right? Being decent, caring about your workforce, that's how it is. That's how it was. And that's what it should be. Though I know woulda, shoulda, coulda, doesn't really matter. Only what is. Well, the family plan bill is in the Senate now. We'll see how long it takes for that to happen and to become law of the land. It'll be a much needed stimulus for the country. Then we need the infrastructure. Lord knows every single state in the union needs infrastructure. We need broadband and connectivity. We not only need the obvious, like bridges and roads, but we need other things too. Clean water, clean air, no pollution, a sustainable society that looks at people and prevents illness rather than letting the illness occur first. There's so much to look forward to because we know we have the science and technology to propel us forward. In the meantime, don't discount Trump. He made sure he was elected in 2016, and it took him time to get there. But there was too much easy access between him and WikiLeaks and the GRU. And you have to wonder, why did Jeff Sessions pass polling information on to the ambassador from Russia? And why did others? And why was McCarthy involved? That same McCarthy who doesn't want to see an investigation on the insurrection of January 6th. We got to know the facts, folks. We can't be living in la-la land forever. We can't be in denial. It's interesting, when I watched the Nuremberg trials, many of the judges were in denial. They kept thinking that no, this didn't happen, that 6 million Jews, 6 million Armenians, and others were slaughtered in the gas chambers, but others knew. I'm not saying that that could happen here, but demonizing of groups is happening, and hate crimes are on the rise. And that's not the American way, or if it is, it's an American way we can change. Because all of us in the lower and the middle classes don't look at each other. We're not taking one job away from each other. Nope. It was the tax laws that did it, that allowed companies to go offshore and use cheaper labor. Wasn't our doing. It wasn't your next door neighbor. It wasn't that poor immigrant working in the fields. It was corporate law. And it was the changing of the NLRB, along with the voting rights laws, the NLRB, a minimum wage, and perhaps legalizing the DACA kids once and for all. These are things that will safeguard our society. I certainly hope that they're on Congress's mind, and if it's only one party that does it, God bless, but somebody's got to do it. We need a democracy that stands and stands tall and stands proud, and because we give our citizens dignity and a living wage. So thank you for listening. Have a glorious weekend, everyone, and I hope that our lives will continue to improve. Mine has, just by getting vaccinated. I'm out there every day, walking 2 miles. God bless you all, and thanks again.